They say that the greatest gift that you can give someone is your time, because that is a portion of your life you will never get back. It is not my birthday today, but I will still ask you to give me this gift. I want you to give me some of your time. Now, I can't guarantee that I will make it worthwhile, but I can assure you that it's worth trying. Our minds are a lot like parachutes because they only function when they're open. I, therefore, ask you to keep an open mind as you imagine being in my position for a moment. I want you to imagine being told that you have less than 24 hours to live right after you're born. I want you to imagine facing so many hardships throughout your life that you one day decide to end it yourself. Finally, I want you to imagine being a person who overcame all the ordeals to become a globally acclaimed scholar and entrepreneur by the age of 24. What you just imagined is a small part of my story. It's a story of pain, it's a story of adversity, but more importantly, it's a story of resilience. A resilience that brought me to my turning point, leading to an incredible breakthrough. The past is a good place to visit, but not a great place to stay. However, you have to understand my past in order to appreciate the man that I am at present. I might have less than 24 hours to live. At least that's what the doctors told my parents because I was born premature and I was gasping for air in a pediatric incubator. As you might have guessed, I did survive and prove them wrong. However, my premature delivery, along with the lack of oxygen in the first 24 hours of my life, meant that my brain was a bit underdeveloped for my age. As a result, I grew up with a borderline learning disability, severe social anxiety, and a lisp during speaking, as you might have noticed by now. My disabilities were not life threatening, thankfully, but they did hamper the way I interacted with the world around me. Growing up, I was a social outcast. I had hardly any friends that I could rely on. And with time, my grades started falling because my brain couldn't keep up with the mounting academic pressure. Nevertheless, I persisted. When I finally passed the medical college admission test and got admitted in a good medical college, I thought that things will change for the better. They did not. Because when I was in the medical college hostel, I was bullied. And man, I was bullied for everything from the way I looked, to the way I spoke, to the way I carried myself. It all made me stand out in a crowd of people that just wanted me to fit in. A lot of people saw my shortcomings, but very few people tried to see my struggles. By the year 2018, I was suffering from depression. Just, just think about it for a moment. I was a second year medical student in a remote town far away from home. I reached out for help, and that's when I learned that therapy and counseling services in Bangladesh are way too expensive for someone like me. There was a time I thought that I could no longer go on. I stood at the edge, contemplating taking my own life, thinking that the pain was too much to bear. But then, at that moment, there was a spark. There was a feeling deep inside me as if something or someone was guiding me in the right direction. For the first time in my life, I wasn't looking for validation from anyone. For the first time ever, I thought that if life wasn't opening any doors for me, I will break down the door. and make a path for myself. Because that was the day I decided that I have had enough. If no one was going to stand up for me, I was going to take a stand for myself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the turning point of my life. I started focusing on self care as much as I could. I started studying psychology and taking online courses on mental health. Within a year, I formed a social enterprise called Orodho Health with the aim of helping young adults and adolescents with their mental health issues free of cost. My goal was simple, that no young man or woman should go through the pain that I had to suffer through. In the past 5 years, Orodho Health has helped over 800 young adults deal with a variety of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety disorders without charging them a single penny. What started as a passion project with a team of 3 people currently employs close to 100 volunteers and over a dozen renowned psychologists. We are the pioneers of the peer-to-peer support model in the mental health sector of Bangladesh. The model has been incredibly successful. In fact, our model has been replicated by some other mental health platforms around the world, impacting over 8,500 people worldwide. And I can't even begin to describe how I've managed to transform my own life in the past 5 years. Who knew that the kid with a learning disability would one day receive 38 license certifications from 25 different institutions around the world? Who could have imagined that a social outcast would one day be voted as one of the top 50 young leaders in Asia Pacific by the Financial Times UK? Who could have foreseen that the person who barely had any friends would one day win the Johnson & Johnson One Young World Scholarship and become an ambassador for One Young World, the largest network of young leaders on the planet? I certainly did not, but life had other plans for me. Ladies and gentlemen, the aim of my talk is not to toot my own horn. I just want to take this moment to tell you that if you bet on yourself today, it will eventually pay off someday. I mean, all throughout my life, I have been told that I am useless. But if the past 5 years has taught me anything, it is that no one, and I repeat, no one is useless. They are only used less by the society. And I've grown to accept the fact that not many people will find me acceptable. And that's all right, because you don't need validation from anyone as long as you learn to validate yourself. Have you ever seen a light bulb? Have you ever seen an old school filament light bulb? What is a light bulb? Light bulb is nothing but a hollow glass container with a tungsten filament inside. But when you take that glass container and you connect it to an electrical energy source, the bulb lights up and lights up the entire room. We as human beings are also like filament bulbs. If you can find the energy of inspiration either from within yourself or from the people around you, new ideas will spark in your mind just like that tungsten filament. And when you take those ideas and start turning them into action, you can illuminate the world by shining in your own light. And I admit that your journey wouldn't be smooth. My journey wasn't smooth in the past, and to be honest, it's not all sunshine and rainbows at present either. However, my past has not defined me. My past has not defeated me. My past has not destroyed me. My past has only strengthened me. And it is this strength that allows me to stand in front of you all today. Because I am not a celebrity and I'm definitely not an influencer. I stand before you today simply as a survivor and I'm damn proud of it. I've shared my journey with you all, from adversities to accomplishments, to emphasize on how individual turning points can lead to collective breakthroughs. I pray and hope that you all recover from your invisible wounds and make a visible impact in your community, because the truth is simple. When you stop waiting for validation from others, when you start turning your pain into progress, you don't just survive, you illuminate. Yes, you light up the path, not only for yourself, but for others like you who are still trapped in the dark. So I ask you, what are you waiting for? Shine in your light, illuminate your world. In a land filled with darkness, be a filament bulb that works. Thank you.